When you learn how to use your heels in climbing, this is what you can do. Welcome back to Enigma Climbing. This is Ardian, and today I want to teach you how to use your heels when you climb. Finally, we have a chilly day today, but before I go climbing, I want to go over a few things on how to use your heels. Now, we've already discussed the primary principle that is the foundation of all of our lower body climbing techniques, which is that we want to utilize our lower body in such a way that we take as much workload off of our upper body as possible. In my last video, we discussed the proper usage of our feet, how we want to activate our toes so that we can maximize and optimize our climbing efficiency. Now, our heels are part of our feet, and so they follow the same principles. We want to try to initiate our climbing movement through our heels as well. I think the best way you can start to understand how to use your heels is by realizing that your heel is an anchor point. When you first make purchase with a rock, you are creating an anchor point that should be strong and stable. So you can do two main actions off of this anchor point. You can pull, and you can use this anchor point as a post. We're going to talk about both of these. Probably the most common verbiage used to describe using your heels in climbing is what's called a heel hook, where you hook the rounded portion of your heel around a piece of rock and use that for purchase, namely to actively engage your hamstrings and your glutes to pull yourself towards the rock. So when you do use a heel hook, there are two main areas of your heel that you utilize. One is going to be right in the center, and the other one is going to be on the outside of your foot. Now, I want to say most of the time, you want to use the outside of your heel to be heel hooking with. That's going to provide you the strongest point and the most leverage. Now, let's look at this heel hook on Smash Alley. I use the outside portion of my left foot to engage. I press into the rock, and that provides purchase, and that creates that anchor point that I was talking about. Right away, I start engaging my hamstring and my glutes, and I'm thinking about, just before I make the movement, I pull with this heel. I'm heel hooking. And so when I go for the move and I catch this sloper with my left hand, this heel is engaged, and it is taking as much pressure off of my hand as possible. And that's what I want, especially since the sloper is so bad. So what's the other way of using a heel hook? Now, this other way, I don't hear of as much. Now, people use it this way, but I don't think it has a term. So I like to call it using your heel as a post. We're going to create an anchor point with this method as well. Just like the most efficient position for using your feet is to be standing on them, the same thing applies to your heels as well. You can stand on your heels and take all of the weight on your heels and away from your upper body. But what makes your heels so great is that the way they're positioned right underneath your shin bone, it makes this possible from many different positions. And that is what I mean by using your heel as a post. I mean, you can position your heel in relation with your knee in such a way that your shin bone becomes a post for you to hang as much of your weight on as possible. Now, I want to demonstrate this on this beautiful climb here at Hospital Boulders called Trepanation Kit. It's got one of the best heel hook mantle combinations that I've ever done. So just like that heel hook on Smash Alley, I position the outside part of my heel on the rock, and I create an anchor point. I do this by first exerting downward pressure. This gives me a strong and stable anchor point so that I can start engaging my hamstring and my glutes. And just like that heel hook on Smash Alley, I pull initially my hips towards the wall. But the difference here, and what will make this into a post, is going to be the positioning of my knee in relation with my heel and also my hips. Pay attention to this. As I'm doing this move and my hips travel closer to my heel, my knee is also moving over my heel. And if you look at it, once my knee is directly above my heel, that's when I really stop engaging my hamstring and my glutes. And now this combination of heel, shin bone, and knee become a post. My body is attached to my knee, and that is attached to my shin bone, which is right over that anchor point. And that provides a post for us to hang as much of our weight on as possible. Now I'm in a position to move my hand on this boulder problem and create that mantle. Now pay attention to the knee again. As I'm getting higher, that knee now moves outwards. And this is very important because this post is now rotating based on my hip positioning, my center of gravity. So this knee keeps moving outwards until I am pretty much almost sitting on my heel. And so I continue with this mantle. Because I have all the weight on my heel and my palm, I am now comfortable. I can reach up to the slopers that before would have felt terrible, but they're okay now because I'm only applying a little bit of pressure with my hands. So what have we done? Well, we have used that first core principle. We have positioned our body in such a way that we can move our hands efficiently. Then we have transferred as much of our weight as possible into the strongest parts of our lower body. All right, well, that's all I want to say to you guys today. I'll see you soon for some more videos on how to get better at climbing. But right now, it's getting cold. I need to go warm up. You guys do the same. I hope you can get out there soon and enjoy some beautiful climbs. Peace out.